Hello, YouTube! Today I have an interesting deck showcase for you guys. It is Master Duel's newest FTK, which tries to summon Infernoid Tiara using as many Infernoid monsters as possible. Why we want to do that? Well, many of you know Tiara, and it has one really broken effect alongside other good effects in its own archetype. If you summon this card using 10 Infernoids with different original names, you get your opponent to discard their entire hand, which means that this is technically an FTK if you pull this off during your first turn. Now, fusion summoning a monster using 10 materials in your starting turn is not exactly easy, which is why we had to make an entire deck around this specific mechanic. So we have a card that's extremely abusable in YuGiOh called Chain Materials, which what it does is that anytime you fusion summon a monster, you can use materials from anywhere except your extra deck and the banished zone. You can just use Infernoid monsters in your deck for this fusion summon just as if they were in your hand. The downside of this card is that it's a trap, which means that you cannot really use it during your turn. But there's nothing really preventing you from using it during your opponent's draw phase, which is why we are combining it with any fusion spell or trap that can be used in response to chain material. Basically, Necrofusion, it's a trap, it can be used anytime you want it to be used, and you can use quick play spells, which act as a trap after you set them. And yeah, that's basically the combo. You set your cards and you activate them during your opponent's draw phase, which is still technically before their turn. The only downside to that is that this turns a card like Droplet into impermanence because it is technically your opponent's turn. So yeah, it's like having extra impermanence in your opponent's hand. The second downside is that this effect can be ashed, can be impermed, which we kinda like counteract with Void Seer, which you activate in response to a negate, makes Tiara immune to all effects. Basically a towers for this turn, just to make sure that the effect goes off. And yeah, that's the deck. In terms of consistency, in order to keep the deck as consistent as possible, we only run one copy of each Infernoid. We are not really playing Infernoid, so we try to minimize the amount of their cards that we have in the deck. And we really want to have chain materials like placed on the field or in our hand at the starting turn. So we play 3 copies of it plus 3 copies of Trap Trick to search it. If we have it in our hand, then we just search Necrofusion. And we have Lilith, does the same thing basically, just like a tribute itself, set any trap from your deck to the field. Once you pull off the combo, most opponents just like scoop. If they did not, then you send from your extra deck Cyber Dark Dragon and Cyber End Dragon and Predaparent Chimera Ferlisa, which will search Overload Fusion for you, which at the start of your next turn, you summon Unuko from the graveyard by banishing it plus 3 other Infernoids from the graveyard, which you have added back to your graveyard with the effect of Tiara. At 8 monsters, each player returns up to 3 from their banished cards into the graveyard, which they are banished because of chain material. So you summon this, that's 3000 attack. You activate Overload Fusion, that's Cyber Dark End Dragon, 5000 attack. You hit for lethal exactly. And if you had a fusion on the field, you, instead of sending Chimera Felisa, you send Saber Dancer, which then you activate from the graveyard to boost Cyber Dark End Dragon from 5000 to 8000, which that by itself is lethal. So yeah, that's how you basically OTK immediately after performing the combo. Usually you don't have to do that because just like your opponent scoops anyway. Like you can't really come back from having your entire hand discarded, and like not even Maxi can do anything against this combo because like your opponent will discard everything anyway.